Hello, everyone. Today, I want to share with you a deeply emotional chapter in the love story of James and Diêp. After countless storms, misunderstandings, and even dark schemes from malicious people, their love seemed almost impossible to survive. But ironically, it was those very hardships that brought them closer and made them cherish each other more than ever before. When James brought Diêp and her daughter back from the peaceful countryside, he quietly prepared a special surprise. On Diêp's birthday, he gave her a priceless gift, a brand new house in the heart of the city. It wasn't just a place to live, it was a symbol of enduring love, a silent promise that said, "No matter what the future holds, I'll always be by your side." The story ends not with a grand wedding or extravagant vows, but with something much more sacred. A quiet, tender moment where the three of them held hands and smiled toward the future. No one knows what lies ahead, but one thing is certain. Whatever comes their way, they'll face it together, hand in hand, forever. If you've been touched by their story, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next heartfelt chapter. Thank you for being here with us and supporting this journey of love. After countless storms and dark schemes aimed at destroying their family's happiness, James could finally breathe a sigh of relief. At last, he was at peace beside his wife and child. Ever since Diêp and her daughter returned to live with him, every evening after work, James found himself longing to rush home, to the laughter, the gentle gaze of the woman he loved, and the warm embrace of a little girl always waiting by the window. But James didn't want to be just a protector. He wanted to give Diêp a true home, not just a place to live, but a space where every corner was filled with love and cherished memories. Quietly, he began planning something special, to build a beautiful wooden house in the heart of the city. A birthday gift he had been dreaming of giving Diêp for a long time. Not a lavish mansion, not a towering building of glass and steel, but a cozy little house with a Scandinavian touch, wrapped in the soft scent of pine wood, a balcony blooming with lavender, and wide windows to welcome the morning sun. James personally selected each design, discussing every tiny detail with the architect. From the color of the curtains to the shape of the cabinet handles, everything reflected Diêp's presence. He instructed the builders to preserve a sense of warmth and serenity in the house, just like the love he held for her. And then, on Diêp's birthday, he brought her to the modest wooden gate. Diêp was speechless, overwhelmed with emotion. In the soft, golden light of sunset, the house seemed to glow, a living testament to a love that had weathered every storm and still remained. Diêp choked up, silent tears gently rolling down her cheeks. This house wasn't just a place to live. It was the embodiment of love, a symbol of healing after countless wounds, and above all, a testament to the unwavering trust James had placed in her, unconditionally, without hesitation. She slowly raised her hand, touching the oak door handle, her heart pounding like it did the first time she fell in love. As the door creaked open, a soft scent of pine wood drifted into the air. Warm, golden light from small lamps illuminated every corner of the home, every photo frame, every flower pot, everything meticulously arranged with care and tenderness. Before her stood a small bookshelf filled with her favorite books, a handcrafted wooden dining table, the very one she had once jokingly said she'd want if I ever have a home of my own. There was even an old piano, polished until it gleamed, as if James had somehow known all the silent dreams she had kept hidden over the years. The space radiated comfort and familiarity. She stood there, motionless, then slowly turned around. Her eyes met his, the eyes of the man who had once shattered her heart, but then patiently pieced it back together with unwavering love and devotion. James stepped forward and gently wrapped her in his arms, whispering in her ear, "I've let you suffer. Far too much. From now on, I don't want you to carry the weight alone anymore. I want you to wake up every morning with peace in your heart. I want you to know that every sunset, someone is waiting for you at home. You're no longer alone, because our daughter and I were always here with you." Diêp buried her face in his chest, unable to say a word. All the pain she had kept hidden finally poured out. In his embrace, she was no longer a woman bruised by the past, but a woman loved completely, free to be herself, ready to start again, no longer afraid. She looked up, her eyes red but filled with a radiant glow. Holding James's hand, she softly said, "This house, it's a dream I never dared to dream, but perhaps even more precious than the house itself is the man who built it for me." James smiled, gently wiping the tears from her cheeks. He didn't need to say anything else, because their emotions had already filled the house, in every wooden groove, every little chair, and in the silent gaze they shared. The door behind them closed softly, while ahead lay a brand new journey, a new chapter, hard-earned through trials and pain. And now they were ready to write it together, with love, with hope, and in a true home of their own. The new house James gave Diêp for her birthday wasn't just a material gift. It was a living symbol of a love that had weathered countless storms. Nestled peacefully on a quiet street in the heart of the city, the house was built in a style that blended modernity with romance, minimalist yet elegant lines, bathed in warm light and surrounded by a vibrant garden of blooming flowers. Every morning, Diêp would gently pull back the curtain, and the scent of jasmine, roses, and lavender would drift into the cozy room with the breeze. The flowers seemed to smile at her, reminding her that today was a new day, a day to be fully embraced in love. Sunlight would filter through the windows, casting a soft, golden hue across the wooden floor. She would hear the birds chirping, the sound of her daughter laughing in the living room. Sounds so simple, yet the most precious gifts life had given her. James often woke earlier, quietly brewing coffee and preparing breakfast. He always believed that happiness came from the smallest details. When Diêp and their daughter came down the stairs, the whole house would be filled with laughter. They would eat breakfast together, James sharing funny stories, their daughter excitedly showing off drawings from school, and Diêp simply sat and listened, her eyes sparkling with happiness. No one but them truly knew what they had been through. The long, lonely nights steeped in sorrow, the days she had to push herself just to keep going, the moments when it felt impossible to take one more step together. But James never let go of her hand. He walked with her through every challenge with steadfast love and unwavering patience. It was his devotion that helped Diêp heal, that made her believe once again that true love could indeed mend a broken heart. Each afternoon, when James came home from work, It wasn't rest he looked forward to most. It was coming home. The familiar wooden door would open to the warm scent of dinner from the kitchen, and Diep's voice would greet him with a gentle, "You're home?" Dinner was always simple, but never short of smiles. Diep would pour him a cup of tea. Their daughter would feed him a bite of his favorite fried fish. Such small things, yet they softened his heart every time. After dinner, as the twilight settled in, James and Diep would sit together on the front porch. They didn't need grand words or to hide anything. Just being near each other, truly and peacefully, was more than enough. One evening, James placed a hand on her shoulder and softly said, "I still can't believe you're here, beside me, in the home we once only dreamed of." Diep smiled, leaning into his shoulder. "I once thought I'd never have days like this again. But having you means I have everything." Then they would talk about their day, the little things at work, how their daughter sang at school, what the teacher had said. They didn't need deep conversations, just listening, understanding, and being together was more than enough. The sky darkened, and a gentle breeze rustled the trees by the porch, bringing with it a slight chill. James draped a scarf over Diep's shoulders as if by instinct. She looked at him, her eyes sparkling under the garden lights, and whispered, "I don't know what I did in my past life to deserve having you by my side." James gently squeezed her hand, saying nothing, because he knew real love doesn't need fancy words. It's found in quiet gestures, in the moments that seem insignificant but mean everything. The house stayed lit. Inside, a true home had come to life, not from its walls but from shared moments, from hands held tightly, from eyes that always found each other even in the storm. After everything, James and Diep had finally found a peaceful place to rest their hearts, and that place was each other. The love story between James and Diep transcends mere romance. It stands as a vivid testament to the power of love and trust in overcoming life's challenges. James, a successful man, generously gifted Diep a new home. Beyond its material value, this home symbolizes safety and serenity, a sanctuary where Diep feels cherished and protected. Their love is evident not only in grand gestures but also in daily acts of kindness, attentive listening, and unwavering support. Facing numerous obstacles, they remain united, their hearts filled with faith and hope. James and Diep's journey reminds us that genuine love and mutual trust can conquer any adversity. Their story illuminates how true affection can dissolve barriers, bringing light and hope even in the darkest times.
Câu chuyện tình yêu giữa James và Diep không chỉ đơn thuần là một mối quan hệ lãng mạn, mà còn minh chứng sống động cho sức mạnh tình yêu và niềm tin trong việc vượt qua mọi thử thách cuộc sống. James, một người đàn ông thành đạt, đã không ngần ngại trao tặng Diep một món quà đặc biệt, một ngôi nhà mới. Nhưng hơn cả giá trị vật chất, món quà ấy là biểu tượng của sự an toàn, là chốn bình yên mà James muốn dành cho Diep. Đó là nơi cô có thể nhận được sự che chở, yêu thương và trân trọng. Tình yêu của họ không chỉ được thể hiện qua những hành động lớn, mà còn qua những cử chỉ nhỏ bé hàng ngày, sự quan tâm, lắng nghe và đồng hành cùng nhau. Dù đối mặt với bao khó khăn, thử thách, họ vẫn luôn nắm tay nhau, cùng nhau vượt qua, bởi niềm tin và hy vọng luôn hữu trong trái tim họ. Câu chuyện của James và Diep là lời nhắc nhở rằng khi hai người thực sự yêu nhau và tin tưởng lẫn nhau, không có điều gì không thể vượt qua. Tình yêu chân thành có thể xóa nhòa mọi rào cản mang lại ánh sáng và hy vọng ngay cả trong những thời khắc tăm tối nhất.